In the midst of Botswana's Kalahari Desert, the Okavango River forms the largest and most unspoilt inland delta in the world. Every year, as the thirstlands of the Kalahari dry out, floodwaters from Angola pulse through the Namibian Caprivi Strip into Botswana to form the permanent swamps of the delta's alluvial fan, where the flood reaches its peak in June. Land and water interact to create a multitude of habitats, leading to a fantastic range of biodiversity. For over 100,000 years, people have lived here, deriving their livelihood from the land and its resources. And today, visitors from the other side of the world want to experience this unique biodiversity. With so many different users, the delta is under pressure. Namibia and Angola, whose rivers feed this oasis, are key players in maintaining its delicate ecological balance. And in the delta itself, creatures, plants and people all have different ways of using it. When one usage conflicts with another, problems can arise, leading to further pressure on the environment. Planning how to manage these issues is a key factor in the conservation of the delta. In 1997, the delta was listed as a wetland of international importance by the Ramsar Convention, with a requirement to develop a plan to help conserve this varied environment, not only for animals, but also for the benefit of people, through sustainable use of the delta and its surrounding areas. In order to manage the delta, plants and people for the benefit of all, the Botswana government, together with development and conservation partners, drew up the Okavango Delta Management Plan. The Ministry of Environment, Wildlife and Tourism took the lead in designing the plan, but another important partner was the University of Botswana's Harry Oppenheimer Okavango Research Centre. Hawke specializes in research and advocacy on natural resource management and helped design and develop the ODMP using their research networks. Many private tour operators and local communities also played an important part in developing the plan.
The Okavango Delta Ramsar site itself is so huge, more than 54,000 square kilometers. That's a huge area to prepare a management plan for. There were 12 sectors involved during the preparation of the plan, and integrated planning provided an opportunity for these sectors to work together, complement each other and sort of have synergies within the activities. That's the whole idea behind integrated planning. Also, as part of the design of the project, various structures were put in place to make sure that there's ownership from the highest level up to the district level. But here what is uniquely ODMP was that we used existing institutions, made sure that we create enough capacity so that those existing institutions can take up the activities that we wanted them to do under the ODMP. And it was important for the whole concept of ownership and to encourage people to participate in the plan preparation and plan implementation, to use their already established institutions.
The plan focuses on areas where management of natural resources is immediately required, the hotspot areas where critical issues concern delta inhabitants the most.
we went into the ODMP process with that premise that we needed to bring together all the relevant affected and interested sectors. Usually, as planners, we plan for communities in our offices. We have had to go out and we didn't carry much when we started in terms of a bag of issues that we could plan for. We had to go out and be seen to be asking communities for the issues that they would want the management plan to address for them.
The most serious issues the plan has to tackle are conflicts arising from habitat loss and human encroachment, combined with population growth and poverty in major sections of the population. The delta is increasingly used by communities for fishing, cattle herding and agriculture. But the delta is also widely in demand from tourists who also have an impact on it. This leads to conflicts between fishing and herding communities and the wildlife tour operators. The delta's rich range of habitats includes the grassy floodplains where herders graze their cattle. But to protect the wildlife environment and bring in much-needed revenue, government has leased large areas called conservancies to tour operators who offer a wide range of high-value, low-volume tourism. Tour operators need to keep cattle out of their conservancies and protect the wildlife in order to sell the wilderness experience to international tourists. However, cattle encroachment and poaching still takes place, and this gives rise to many conflicts which ODMP needs to resolve. Key to the resolution of conflicts is the principle that if all parties participate in identifying the problems, the solutions they find and agree on are far more likely to be implemented and self-regulated than solutions imposed from outside. Participation means ownership.
The ownership here is for the community to help us and the community to also help themselves to manage their resources. Because the principle of wisdom approach is that if we both manage our natural resources, then we can have the sustainable use of the delta. It's them who live in and around the delta, so they are the best policemen and women to best manage the delta. We're just there to provide strategic direction, and therefore they're the ones on the ground. They can do wonders in terms of the sustainable use of the delta.
The Okavango project, aimed at building local capacity for the conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity in the Okavango Delta, was set up by Hawke to elaborate and support ODMP implementation. Okavango, as the implementing arm of ODMP, follows ODMP's example in using the traditional public meeting or khotla to encourage all parties to come up with complaints surrounding the problems of grazing and poaching